here to celebrate Askar Yaghoubi's solo exhibition titled The Journey Within. The title of this exhibition was so generously coined by our guest of honor today, Mr. Yeo Jin Ling, who's been very generous and very supportive of this exhibition. Of course, Mr. Yeo is an icon of Malaysian art scene. He's been instrumental in shaping the landscape of Malaysian art today. Yaghoubi has made Malaysia his home after moving here after 5 years, I believe. And in his 5 years, he has set up his own gallery called the Cube Gallery, which is on the opposite side of Jalan Ampang, where he has tirelessly promoted Iranian artists to a Malaysian audience. He has taken part in numerous exhibitions, both solo and group exhibitions, and today we are very pleased to host his solo exhibition of sculptures and lino prints. Today we are honored to have Mr. Yeo Jin Ling here, who again has been very supportive of this exhibition. Yaghoubi has spent many months working in Jin Ling's house, in his beautiful studio, which has culminated in this wonderful exhibition. We thank you very much, Jin Ling, for all your generosity, and we are truly appreciative of your innumerable and priceless contribution to us and to Malaysian art. You are a true inspiration. So without further ado, we would like to invite Jin Ling to say a few words and declare the exhibition. Jin Ling, please.
Just forgive me if I have to read from my paper. At 84, I can never be very sure about senility, happening, with growing age. Anyway, thank you for braving the heavy rains to come for this exhibition. I shall take about 10 minutes just to read through this, what I have thought appropriate for the Malaysian art scene and also for Yaghoubi here. He's a Persian artist and has had a journey as artist and art instructor, started from Shiraz in Iran. His impressive biodata is found in the brochure, and his stature as an artist is unquestionable. I have been to Isfahan way back in 1971 and was fascinated by the miniature paintings as illustrations to manuscripts, the Shahnameh, the Book of Kings, particularly written by the poet, Iranian poet Ferdowsi in 1010. One can see the great delight of artists for fine details in the flowers, ducks and birds, horses, the horsemen riding them, the lions, the zephyrs, against a hunting or war scene. From the period of 1300 to 1900, they breathe into life into the trees, animals, clouds, and hills. A perfect understanding of design in every style, generation after generation. Iran has had an invasion in 2 waves by the Mongols, Genghis Khan in 1220 and Hulagu Khan in 1250, with lots of killing and destruction. The whole region as far as Baghdad were under Mongol control. The influences of Chinese design are to be seen in the Persian paintings and illustrations to the text. colors and forms, the colors were brilliant, are perceived on a flat surface to form a rhythmic whole. Three-dimensional perspective and chiaroscuro, which is of the Western concept of painting and so on, is not favored. The side view of figures take prominence, not front view, simply because it was not very polite. Until a later period, of course, in 1800, with European influences. Ghazan Khan, the successor, converted to Islam in 1295 and became Ilkhan. Successive leaders were great patrons of the arts of Mongol style of paintings, with Mongol, Arab, Chinese, of course Sung, and Persian elements developed from the 14th century. There was a Rashid al-Din, an able minister, had the history of the world formulated, and the Jami Tawarikh had frontal format of Chinese design with illustrations to the text. In the 16th century of the Safavid period, Sheikh Safi al-Din founded the Sufi order with man, nature, and portraits painted and spirituality energized. The history of conflicts, of course, of religious sectal intolerances, and the conquest of Isfahan by Afghan Mughals ended the Safavid dynasty from 1700s right up to 1924. The import of European influences, particularly Russian and British, brought about the changes to art of an ancient civilization. Allow me to refer to contemporary drama, a contemporary drama performed a few months ago at the Actors Studio in KL by Iranian writer Bahram Bezal. He identified that there are 5 classes of society encased in 4 boxes: yellow for the intellectual domain, green for the devout, red for the business people and professionals, and black for society and people. A scarecrow as dictator is identified in the story, and all the different classes of society are entrapped within a system in boxes, captives of boxed thinking, of an animal herd instinct. The drama ended with the ones in society bent on embracing freedom of thought to break down the walls and be free from the box of box thinking. In art, as some sage has said once, I shall not be the one as a victim of the devil. And here is what Goethe in 1899 had said: the artist stands free from nature or above nature and can treat her according to his higher purposes. He is both her lord and servant. Her servant, as he must use earthly means to make himself understood. Her lord, because he must make these earthly means subservient to his higher intentions. Now let us hear what an artist from Germany, Kandinsky, says on painting. Painting is art, and art is not vague production, transitory, isolated, but a power which must be directed to the development and refinement of the human soul to the apex of the spirit, or in other words, adapting of form to internal significance. Well, today, with all the progress of and the march of civilization and so on, technology, etc., we have come to see art. Any art is art, and it is a nervous illness, a kind of a pathological one that the Greeks from ancient times had enunciated. Also the Indians in India, and Bahram Bizale has rightly demonstrated on this issue in his dramatic performances of society entrapped in boxes. Out of a capitalistic system, political or any other system, we have petite bourgeoisie, plutocrats, panderers, profiteers, plunderers of intellectual property, manifesting everywhere, with art even thrown to the periphery of insignificance in the school curriculum and education. With it, of course, the critical, imaginative, and intuitive thinking as well. Art as mere stylistic form, which is what it is now today, is only understood for manufactured vanity and flattery, for material investment, like for auction houses or stock and shares of the bourse. The word aesthetic comes from the Greek word aesthesis, which means feeling of a beauty within, ethical in value, founded on morality, of a timelessness of the absolute, an ideal that, to mention some artists or philosophers like Plato, Kant, and Mondrian, they had already enunciated on this a long time ago. This so-called contemporary art, and I wonder, contemporary of what? Of developing countries are construed and controlled in an academic sense by reviews and curatorships. Regarding these reviews, I had already commented in an article 30 years ago the biased cognition of looking at art through the Western window, not the Asian one. That has become the norm for appreciating art. The lack of knowledge of the psychology of art is deplorable to me as well, when art is conceived as paintings only. When you have sculpture, nobody understands what sculpture here, particularly in this country. And paintings must have that realistic feature of natural form that I suppose the ignorant can identify with, and sometimes lie with words like expressive, creative, imaginative, inspirational, etc., etc. A quote from Ananda Kumarasamy, poet and philosopher of India, is appropriate here. Art that imitates nature and is like nature, the more realistic it is, the more it lies. Imitation of anything and everything is, to him, despicable. It is the decline of intellectuality and a return to savage level of culture. And we all know who Einstein is, and he has said that when technology envelops humanity, we will have a generation of idiots. Every human being born into life on our planet Earth has many roads, many paths, considered higher than the animal kingdom. That's what we are, with a bigger brain and an intellect and a given free will. The human being has the ability to think, gain knowledge, make choices governed by the knowing self within. He, she will make and decide on how he, she will live that life on earth to search for truth of a higher dimension of the spirit of infinite cosmic rhythm, order, and harmony, or succumb to the desires of material aggrandizement for the ego of the false self, for greed and power. We know that nothing is static. Change is absolute in life and living. From the first cry we make from the womb, when we come out from the womb, to the last gasp when we leave this earth. The choices to open the doors within for the insight and wisdom are ours. And in this movement of more than 64,000 miles per hour, even though we are standing fixed here in this hall, we are moving at more than 64,000 miles per hour. Man has imputed this condition with his mind and heart to realize with profound awareness the phases of life we take and the choices we have. At the end of the day, with the successive movements of the spirit of cosmic creative dimension and imagination, whether the journey is meaningful or not is the question. We can look at Yahubi's artworks with a better understanding for an insight into the journey we as artists must take to re-establish the vision, the poetic order, beauty and harmony necessary along our journeys on different paths or similar paths, and be enlightened to touch the apex of the divine spirit in our art making. And all my best wishes for a unique exhibition and a successful exhibition to Yahubi. Congratulations and thank you. The exhibition is over.
Thank you very much, Jinling, for that wonderfully inspired speech. Now we'd like to invite Yagubi to present a token of appreciation to Mr. Yeo Jinling for opening this exhibition.
Thank you so much for everything. I love to paint. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's what is. This one is especially for your scout.
Thank you very much. These are his two sons,
Yes.
Ali and Aman.
Wow.